How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, February 21st, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, first I'm going to review the Elite performances and matchups from yesterday, Saturday, February 20th, and of course I'm going to preview all the big games today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Starting in the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets hosted the Golden State Warriors, and they were able to pull off a 102-100 win after trailing by as much as 8 off of a last-second shot from Terry Rozier to virtually save the game for them. For the Golden State Warriors in this matchup, their leading scorer was their starting shooting guard Kelly Oubre Jr. out of Kansas, as Oubre finished with 25 points and 6 rebounds alongside 2 steals in 37 minutes, as he shot 9 for 19 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 3 for 5 from the line. For the Charlotte Hornets in this matchup, their elite starting point guard LaMelo Ball would finish with 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists alongside 2 steals and 5 turnovers in 32 minutes, as the young point guard finished shooting 3 for 10 from the field and 1 for 5 from 3. And the leading scorer for the Charlotte Hornets, and the player that I believe had the performance of the night, was their starting shooting guard Terry Rozier, who finished with 36 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists alongside 39 minutes and in 39 minutes, he shot 12 for 19 from the field, 8 for 11 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. With this win, the Charlotte Hornets are 14-15, which is the 7th best record in the Eastern Conference. Within the playoff picture, they are half a game behind the 6th place Toronto Raptors, and they're half a game ahead of the 8th place New York Knicks. And overall, they sit 5.5 games behind the 1st place Philadelphia 76ers. And with this loss, the Golden State Warriors are 16-15 as they hold on to the 8th spot in the West, half a game ahead of the 9th place Grizzlies on the outside looking in. Well, the Golden State Warriors are the last team in, looking to stay in. Jumping out to Los Angeles, the defending champions Los Angeles Lakers hosted the reigning Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat, in a rematch of the 2020 NBA Finals. And in this game, the Miami Heat were able to beat the Los Angeles Lakers 96-94. As the Heat took a 13-point lead after the first quarter, the Lakers would take it to the final possession as Alex Caruso would miss the game-tying opportunity in the last seconds. For the Los Angeles Lakers, their goated small forward LeBron James would finish with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists alongside 5 turnovers in 37 minutes, as LeBron shot 7 for 21 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. And the leading scorer for the reigning champs was their starting small forward Kyle Kuzma, who finished with 23 points in 34 minutes, shooting 8 for 21 from the field on the night. And for Miami, their elite starting center out of Kentucky, Bam Adebayo, would finish with 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as 2 steals in 36 minutes, as he shot 8 for 16 from the field. Their elite starting small forward, Jimmy Butler, would finish with 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, as well as 5 turnovers in 34 minutes, as Butler shot 8 for 20 from the field and 8 for 10 from the free throw line. And the leading scorer for the Miami Heat would be their starting shooting guard out of Oakland, Kendrick Nunn, who finished with 27 points and 5 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 40 minutes, as Nunn shot 10 for 14 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. With this win, the Miami Heat are 13-17, which is the 10th best record in the Eastern Conference, as they trail the 8th place New York Knicks by one whole game in the playoff race, and they trail the 1st place 76ers by 7. And then with this loss, the Los Angeles Lakers are now 22-9, which ties them with the Los Angeles Clippers for the 2nd best record in the Western Conference, as they trail the 1st place Utah Jazz by 2.5 games. Jumping really quickly to Chicago, the Chicago Bulls hosted the Sacramento Kings, and they were able to pull off a 122-114 win after getting the momentum, outscoring the Sacramento Kings by a total of 10 points in the first half. For the Kings in this game, their starting point guard De'Aaron Fox would finish with 20 points and 9 assists, as well as 2 steals in 40 minutes, as Fox shot 7 for 17 from the field. Their starting shooting guard out of Oklahoma, Buddy Hield, would finish with 23 points in 35 minutes, as Hield shot 10 for 21 from the field. And the leading scorer for the Sacramento Kings would be their starting power forward out of Duke, Marvin Bagley III, as Bagley would finish with 26 points and 11 rebounds, as well as 2 steals in 35 minutes, as Bagley shot 10 for 19 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the line. For the Chicago Bulls, their leading scorer would be their starting shooting guard out of UCLA, Zach LaVine, as he finished with 38 points, as well as 3 steals in 36 minutes, as he shot 15 for 20 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the line. With this win, the Chicago Bulls are now 13-16, which is the ninth best record in the Eastern Conference. They are sitting half a game behind the 8th place Knicks for a playoff spot, and overall they are 6.5 games behind the first place Philadelphia 76ers. And with this loss, the Sacramento Kings are 12-17, which ties them with the New Orleans Pelicans for the 4th worst record in the Western Conference, as both teams sit 3 games out of the playoff picture. Jumping really quickly to Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies hosted the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns were able to beat the Grizzlies 128-97 by 31 points after outscoring Memphis by 31 in the first quarter and 18 in the second. For the Memphis Grizzlies in this matchup, their elite starting point guard Ja Morant would finish with 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 27 minutes as he shot 5 for 12 from the field and a perfect 2 for 2 from the line. The leading scorer for the Memphis Grizzlies would be their center off the bench out of Louisville, as Gorgui Dieng would finish with 15 points in 23 minutes as he shot 3 for 7 from the field and a perfect 8 for 8 from the line. For the Phoenix Suns in this matchup, their elite starting point guard Chris Paul would finish with 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists in 22 minutes, as Paul shot 6 for 9 from the field and 4 for 5 from 3. And the leading scorer for the Phoenix Suns would be their elite starting shooting guard out of Kentucky, Devin Booker, as he finished with 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in 26 minutes as he shot 7 for 13 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3, and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. With this win, the Phoenix Suns are 19-10, which is the 4th best record in the Western Conference. In the playoff picture, they trailed the Lakers and the Clippers both by 2 games in the table, and they currently sit 1 game ahead of the 5th place Portland Trailblazers. Overall, they are 4.5 games behind the Utah Jazz. With this loss, the Memphis Grizzlies are now 13-13, which is the 9th best record in the Western Conference, as they trail the 8th place Warriors by half a game. Really quickly, looking out to Portland for the final game of the night, because the Rockets-Pacers game and the Knicks and Spurs game were both postponed. The Washington Wizards would go to Portland and beat the Trailblazers 118-111 after outscoring the Trailblazers by 10 in the 4th quarter to come back and pull off their 10th win of the season. For the Portland Trailblazers in this matchup, their leading scorer would be their elite starting point guard Damian Lillard, as he finished with 35 points, 6 rebounds, and 12 assists in 39 minutes as he shot 10 for 30 from the field, 7 for 17 from 3, and he was a perfect 8 for 8 from the line. For the Washington Wizards in this matchup, their elite starting point guard Russell Westbrook would finish with 27 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists, alongside 7 turnovers in 37 minutes as Westbrook shot 11 for 17 from the field and 5 for 7 from the free throw line. And the leading scorer for the Washington Wizards would be their elite starting shooting guard Bradley Beal, who finished with 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, alongside 2 steals and 5 turnovers in 35 minutes as Beal shot 16 for 27 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the line. With this win, the Washington Wizards are currently 10-17. 10-17, that is the 3rd worst record in the Eastern Conference, as they are currently trailing the 8th place New York Knicks by 2.5 games in the playoff push, and they trail the first place 76ers by 8.5 games. With this loss, the Portland Trailblazers are 18-11, which is the 5th best record in the Western Conference, as they currently trail the first place Utah Jazz by 5.5 games in the conference. And with that said, looking forward to today's games, because of course today is Sunday, starting off with the primetime games to look forward to. At 3:30, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to host the Boston Celtics on ABC, as it is a Duke matchup between Zion Williamson and Jason Tatum. Also at 8 o'clock, the Los Angeles Clippers are going to host the Brooklyn Nets, as this is a potential NBA Finals matchup. As James Harden and Kyrie more than likely are going to face off against Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, as both of those wings are back in the lineup. Outside of those games, at 7 o'clock, the Cavaliers are going to host the Thunder. The Magic are going to host the Pistons, and the Raptors are going to host the Sixers, and the Knicks are going to host the Timberwolves, all at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, the Atlanta Hawks are going to host the Denver Nuggets, and then at 9 o'clock, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to host the Sacramento Kings. And really quickly, staying with basketball, but of course transitioning to college to get a sense of what's going on there. First-ranked Gonzaga hosted unranked San Diego and was able to win 106-69 behind Drew Timme's 21 points and 18 rebounds. With this win, first-place Gonzaga is now 22-0, as they are now 13-0 in their conference, and unranked San Diego is now 3-8, as they are now 2-5 in the WCC. And fifth place Illinois went to Minnesota, and they were able to beat the Gophers 94-63 behind Ayo Dosunmu's 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. With this win, fifth-ranked Illinois is now 16-5, as they are now 12-3 in the Big Ten. And with this loss, unranked Minnesota is now 13-10. They are 6-10 in the Big Ten. All seventh-ranked UVA went to Duke to Cameron Indoor Stadium, and Duke was able to pull off of an upset at home versus seventh-ranked Virginia, winning 66-65. As it came down to the last second, Kihei Clark would miss the game-winning three, and Duke would come away with their 10th win of the season. With this win, following Matthew Hurd's 22 points. And with this win, unranked Duke is now 10-8, as they are now 8-6 in the ACC. Go Duke. And with this loss, seventh-ranked Virginia is now 15-5, as they are 11-3 in the ACC. Moving on down the list, eighth-ranked Alabama hosted unranked Vanderbilt and was able to pull off an 82-78 win behind Jaden Shackelford's 27 points. With this win, eighth-ranked Alabama is now 18-5, as they are 13-1 in the SEC. And with this loss, unranked Vanderbilt is 6-12, as they are 2-10 in the SEC. Ninth-ranked Oklahoma was able to go to Iowa State and beat the Cyclones 66-56 behind Austin Reeves' 20 points. With this win, ninth-ranked Oklahoma is now 14-5, as they are 9-4 in the Big 12. With this loss, unranked Iowa State is 2-16, as they are 0-13 in the Big 12. 10th-ranked Villanova hosted unranked UConn and won 68-60 behind Jeremiah Robinson's 17 points and 11 rebounds. With this win, 10th-ranked Villanova is now 14-3, as they are 9-2 in the Big East. With this loss, unranked UConn is 10-6, as they are 7-6 in the Big East. 12th-ranked Texas hosted 13th-ranked West Virginia, as the Mountaineers were able to win this game 84-82 after outscoring the Longhorns by 12 in the second half behind Miles McBride's 17 points. With this win, 13th-ranked West Virginia is now 15-6, and they are 8-4 in the Big 12. With this loss, 12th-ranked Texas is 13-6, as they are 7-5 in the Big 12. 23rd-ranked Kansas hosted 15th-ranked Texas Tech, and in this game, Kansas was able to pull off the 67-61 win behind David McCormick's 17 points and 8 rebounds. With this win, 23rd-ranked Kansas is 17-7, as they are 11-5 in the Big 12. And with this loss, 15th-ranked Texas Tech is 14-7, as they are 6-6 in the Big 12. 16th-ranked Florida State went to Pittsburgh, and they were able to beat the Panthers 79-72 behind Raekwon Gray's 16 points and 8 rebounds. With this win, 16th-ranked Florida State is now 13-3, as they are 9-2 in the ACC. And with this loss, unranked Pittsburgh is 9-9, as they are 5-8 in the ACC. 17th-ranked USC hosted the Arizona Wildcats, as Arizona was able to pull out the 81-72 win behind Jordan Brown's 19 points and 13 rebounds. With this win, unranked Arizona is 15-8, as they are 9-8 in the Pac-12. And with this loss, 17th-ranked USC is now 18-4, as they are 12-3 in the Pac-12. 19th-ranked Tennessee hosted unranked Kentucky, and the Wildcats were able to beat the Volunteers by 15 points behind Isaiah Jackson's 16 points and 7 rebounds. With this win, unranked Kentucky is 8-13, as they are 7-7 in the SEC. And with this loss, 19th-ranked Tennessee is now 15-6, as they are 8-6 in the SEC. Also, 20th-ranked Missouri was able to beat unranked South Carolina 93-78, as Drew Smith led the way with 17 points and 7 assists. With this win, 20th-ranked Missouri is 14-6, as they are 7-6 in the SEC. With this loss, unranked South Carolina is 5-11, as they are 3-9 in the SEC. And last but not least, 25th-ranked San Diego State was able to beat unranked Fresno State 75-57, as Jordan Shackle would lead the way with 14 points and 8 rebounds. With this win, 25th-ranked San Diego State is now 17-4, as they are 11-3 in the Mountain West. And with this loss, unranked Fresno State is 9-9, as they are 7-9 in the Mountain West. Looking forward to what's going on today for Sunday's matchups. At 1 o'clock, 4th-ranked Ohio State is going to host 3rd-ranked Michigan at 1 o'clock on CBS. Also at 1 o'clock, 6th-ranked Houston is going to host unranked Cincinnati on ESPN. At 5 o'clock, 11th-ranked Iowa is going to host unranked Penn State. And at 7 o'clock, unranked Northwestern is going to host 21st-ranked Wisconsin on Big Ten Network. Keeping it in the arena, but of course shifting it to the ice with the NHL because the NHL season is now officially underway. Just looking out into yesterday's games, the Buffalo Sabres were able to beat the New Jersey Devils 3-2 as they were able to score all three of their goals in the first two periods. Ryan Hartwell scored 2 goals for Buffalo as they picked up their 5th win of the season. With this win, the Buffalo Sabres are currently sitting at the bottom of the East Division as they trailed the first-place Boston Bruins by 10 points. Also, the New York Rangers were able to beat the Washington Capitals 4-1 as the Rangers goalie Shesterkin would finish with 26 saves on the night as the Rangers picked up their 6th win of the season. With this win, the New York Rangers are now sitting 6th in the division as they trail the Boston Bruins by 7 total points. And then jumping out to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Penguins were able to beat the New York Islanders 3-2 as Sidney Crosby would lead the way with 2 assists. And, of course, Letang would finish with 2 goals from the defense as the Penguins picked up their 9th win of the season. With this win, the Pittsburgh Penguins are tied with the Capitals and the Islanders for the 4th best standing in the East Division and the Flyers, too, as all of these teams trailed the Boston Bruins by 3 points. Looking out to Colorado, the Colorado Avalanche hosted the Las Vegas Golden Knights in Lake Tahoe in one of the NHL's outdoor specials as they were able to score a goal in every period. With this win, the Colorado Avalanche are sitting 3rd in the table as they trail the St. Louis Blues by 3 points total. And then jumping out really quickly to Detroit, the Red Wings were able to beat the Florida Panthers 2-1 as both of their goals came in the second period. With this win, the Red Wings now have 5 of them on the season, and looking out in the Central Division, they are sitting at the bottom as they trail the first-place Carolina Hurricanes by 12 points. Speaking of the Hurricanes, they were able to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-0, completely shutting them out, scoring 2 goals in both the second and third period. With this win, the Carolina Hurricanes are sitting at the top of their division by 1 point over the Florida Panthers. Continuing on, the Nashville Predators were able to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-2 as they scored 2 goals in the first period. Columbus would tie it up with 2 of their own goals in the second period, but then the Predators would create separation with 2 of their own in the third to pick up their 7th win of the season. With this win, the Nashville Predators are 2nd from the bottom, or they are just sitting 7th or tied for the 6th best standing in the Central Division as they trail the first-place Carolina Hurricanes by 11 points. Continuing on, jumping back out west, the Los Angeles Kings were able to beat the Arizona Coyotes 4-2 as 3 of their goals came in the third period. Iafallo, their right winger, would finish with 2 goals. Sorry if I butchered the name. As with this win, the Los Angeles Kings are tied with the Coyotes for 4th in the West Division as they trail the St. Louis Blues by 5 points. And then the San Jose Sharks were able to beat the St. Louis Blues 5-4, as all 4 of the Blues' goals would come in the second period, but the San Diego Sharks would create separation in the third period to give them their 7th win of the season. With this win, the Sharks are sitting 7th in the table as they and the Minnesota Wild currently trail the St. Louis Blues by 6 points in the table. Speaking of the Wild, they were able to beat the Ducks 5-1. Their left winger Fiala would finish with 2 goals and an assist as they picked up their 8th win of the season. Just like I said, they and the Sharks were sitting 6 points behind the St. Louis Blues in the table. Jumping up to Canada, the Maple Leafs were able to beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-3 as 4 of their goals would come in the second period. Austin Matthews, their center, would finish with 2 goals and an assist, and their other center, Marner, would finish with a goal and 2 assists on the night as the Maple Leafs picked up their 14th win of the season. With this win, they currently sit atop the North Division by 6 points over the second-place Oilers, who were able to pull off a 7-1 win against the Calgary Flames as their center, Connor McDavid, would finish with a hat trick with 3 goals as well as 2 assists on the night to help the Oilers pick up their 12th win of the season. Like I just said, the Oilers are sitting 2nd in the North Division as they trail the Toronto Maple Leafs by 6 points in the table. Looking forward to what's going on today on the 21st, starting with the primetime games. At 2 o'clock, the Capitals are going to host the New Jersey Devils on NBC. And then at 7:30, the Boston Bruins are going to host the Philadelphia Flyers, on NBC Sports Network as they play their matchup at Lake Tahoe. And then last but not least, looking out to soccer really quickly, just to give a sense of what's going on in the world of international soccer, starting with yesterday's games, because, of course, yesterday was Saturday, and it was incredibly action-packed as we were kind of navigating through the second half of the season, starting in the Premier League. Chelsea was able to draw with Southampton 1-1 as their penalty kick from Mount would tie the game for them and give them a point in the table. Right now, Chelsea's sitting fourth in the table as they trail first place Manchester City by 13 points. They've played one more game in the table. Also, Everton was able to beat Liverpool at Anfield 2-0 as that was a very big win for them. With this win, Everton is sitting seventh in the table as they currently have as many points as Liverpool with one less game played. Liverpool sitting sixth in the table as they are still trying to hold on to at least a Europa League seeding. Jumping to the Bundesliga, the reigning Bundesliga and FIFA Club World Cup champs Bayern Munich went to Eintracht Frankfurt. Kind of shorthanded with a lot of their players being out due to COVID and injuries. And Eintracht Frankfurt was able to score 2 goals in the first half to put them up 2-0. Robert Lewandowski, the elite Polish striker for Bayern Munich, would score their only goal of the game in the 53rd minute, and Eintracht Frankfurt would pick up the 2-1 win over Bayern Munich. Currently looking at the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich still sits pretty comfortably, not comfortably at the top, but they are sitting right now 5 points over RB Leipzig, which puts pressure on RB Leipzig to close the gap within the table. Also staying within the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund went to Schalke and were able to pull up a 4-0 win. Their first goal would come from their elite English forward, Jadon Sancho. Their second from their elite Norwegian striker, Erling Haaland. Guerrero would score in the third in the second half, and then Erling Haaland in the 79th minute would cap the 4-0 win as he finished with 2 goals on the night. And his first goal was just one of the best goals you'll kind of see. It was a flying volley, and with this win, Borussia Dortmund currently sits 6th in the table as they sit 13 points out of first place, and they currently sit 6 points out of a Champions League spot behind Eintracht Frankfurt. Looking out into La Liga, Atletico Madrid hosted Levante, and Levante were able to beat Atletico Madrid 2-0, as Atletico Madrid's lead in La Liga is currently shrinking. As of right now, they are sitting 3 points over Real Madrid with one less game being played. As Real Madrid was able to beat Real Valladolid 1-0 behind Casemiro's 65th minute goal. That's everything that really kind of happened in that league. As of course, like I just said, Real Madrid is sitting just 3 points behind Atletico Madrid in the table. Really quickly looking out to what's going on today with all the developing matchups. In the Premier League, West Ham is going to host Tottenham, as both of these teams sitting at the top are looking to try to gain a little traction within the league, as Tottenham looks to try to claw their way into Europa League contention. Also, Arsenal is going to host Manchester City at 11:30 as Manchester City sits at the very top of the table by 10 points. A win here could very well create separation between them and Manchester United, who hosts Newcastle United. All the pressure's on Manchester United to win to see if just so they would have a chance to compete in the Premier League, as Manchester City's been a team on a mission and they really haven't lost a lot of games very recently. In the Bundesliga, like I just said, RB Leipzig, the pressure's on them to thin the deficit between them and Bayern Munich in the table as they go to Berlin to face off against Hertha. In Italian Serie A, AC Milan's going to host Inter Milan for the Milan Derby. In the last game they played, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Lukaku, both teams' elite strikers, would butt heads. So, of course, this is a good rival between the two teams, as both of these teams actually sit on top, or they sit at the very top of Italian Serie A, which makes this game even bigger. Inter Milan sits 1 point ahead of AC Milan in the table, and a win here for either team could see them take the top of the table. And then in La Liga, Barcelona is going to host Cádiz as Barcelona looks to try to make a run for the top of the table, as they are competing with Atletico Madrid following Atletico Madrid's loss, and Real Madrid's win gave Real Madrid more of a chance to jump up in the table. And with that said, that's everything that's going on today. And also at the same time, Novak Djokovic was able to win the Australian Cup last night, of course, as he adds yet another major to his collection. And there was a bit, and of course, with UFC Fight Night, Derek Lewis won the main event after knocking out the number 2 contender in the heavyweight division. And kind of with everything said, that's everything you got to know. And once again, today is Sunday, February 21st, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and this is The Elite. And once all of these exhibitions are done, I will get back to you tomorrow with an episode then. And also, I will have an individual profile for Khalil Mack, the elite starting defensive end for the Chicago Bears, who turns 30 tomorrow. But with that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 25 minutes of my piece. I hope all is well, and I will catch you guys tomorrow with 2 more episodes. Peace out, and I hope all is well.